Hi everyone, and thank you for joining me for your next market update. The most recent land registry statistics for the year ending July 2023 reveal that Worcestershire experienced a 28% decrease in property sales. This is compared to the previous year, with a total of 3,489 transactions. Notably, Worcester, Malvern and Droitwich all saw 28 to 29% drops in sales. Moving on to property prices, the WR postcode area averaged 288,989 over the last year. Flats in the area had an average price of 151,265, while houses averaged 321,952. Among these areas, Malvern had the highest average transaction value at 318,465, which was up 5%. Droitwich followed with an average of 290,145, up 4%, and Worcester with an average of 255,810, which was also up 5%. Over the past 5 years, property values have grown significantly. Average across the WR postcodes is at 23%, Worcester's at 22%, Droitwich at 19%, and Malvern with an impressive 28% over the last 5 years. Shifting to rentals, the average rent in the WR postcode area increased by 6% to 848 over the past year. Flats rented for an average 702, while houses fetched 972 per month. In Droitwich, the average rent is 757, with flats at 577 and houses at 955. Malvern's rental rates remain stable at 848, with flats at 749 and houses at 920. Worcester's figures were 3% below the average at 819. A noteworthy trend is the decline of home ownership amongst young adults. Currently, only 41% of those aged 25 to 34 actually own their own homes, a stark contrast to the 66% figure from 3 decades ago. This shift has contributed to the growth of the private rented sector. With the general election approaching, political parties are expected to focus on housing policies aimed at helping young adults take their first step onto the housing ladder. Additionally, lettings agents are experiencing high demand at the moment, with an average of 25 inquiries per property. If you're considering investing in the private rented sector, then don't miss our Landlord Seminar on Wednesday the 6th of December. It's going to be hosted by our lettings manager James Gwynn. Admission is free, but spaces are limited, so be sure to book via the Eventbrite link, which will be added in the description. Now let's shift our focus to the national market. According to HMRC, there were just over 87,000 property sales in August, which marks a small 1.1% improvement compared to the previous month. This figure is, however, significantly lower than last year's sales, which were down by 15.6%. Mortgage approvals in August dropped to 45,000, which is 8% lower than the previous month, but 14% higher than at the beginning of the year. RICS report that the agreed sales measure in the latest survey came in at a net balance of minus 37% in September, showing some improvement compared to August and July, though it remains in a negative territory. In August, 75% of buyers were confident in purchasing a property within the next 3 months, while 61% of sellers were also confident in selling within that same time frame. This is according to On the Market. In economic news, the Bank of England has held base rates at 5.25%, concluding a cycle of 14 consecutive rate hikes. In July 2023, the monthly real gross domestic product, or GDP, fell by 0.5%, following a 0.5% growth in June 2023. Additionally, inflation dropped to 6.7% in the year to August, down from 6.8% in July, driven in part by lower food prices. Turning to the lettings market, rental prices in the UK experienced annual growth of 5.7% in September. That's the strongest since records began. The average rent on newly agreed rental contracts reached £1,276 in September, reflecting a 10.1% year-on-year increase. In policy news, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced a change in government requirements. Landlords will no longer be mandated to achieve a minimum EPC grade to let out a property. We're committed to providing more frequent market insights online. We believe it's crucial for you to receive clear, evidence-based messages that can help you navigate the current market and make informed decisions. I'm eager to continue providing expert advice, so get in touch if you have any questions. Stay informed, make the right choices, and thank you for joining our local market roundup.